I have something that I've really been wanting to talk about.
What?
I want to talk about how there are only 11 biscuits in my packet of unopened biscuits, labeled 12 biscuits in every pack.
All right, stop.
I don't know if this is a mistake or if the company is trying to rip me off.
Yo, is this one of those things where, like, biscuit means something completely fucking different than I think it does?
No, Mike, there's a complaint or a criticism with the podcast that it's only inside jokes. This is one of the most insidest jokes that even people who are in here don't know what the fuck this is.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to talk about biscuits. Look, either way, I'm not happy about it, right? I'm only one biscuit short, but that just doesn't seem right. Has anyone else experienced this? Let me know in the comments.
Oh my god.
To help people in the know so we're all on the same page.
No, I'm leaving it. I'm editing out any explanation of this segment and we're just letting it ride.
He didn't even do the voice, though.
Wait, hold on. What voice do I have to do?
Oh, damn. It was like, yeah, the biscuits. I go to this store.
Hey, I'm Catsman, and today I want to talk about how there are only 11 biscuits in my packet of unopened biscuits, labeled 12 biscuits in every pack. I don't know if this is a mistake or if the company is trying to rip me off, but either way, I'm not happy about it. I'm only one biscuit short, and that doesn't seem right. Has anyone else experienced this? Let me know in the comments.
Hello and welcome.
That's right.
Rock me, baby. Baby. Rock me, baby. Baby.
That's right.
Baby. 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 Baby.
Originally meant to be released in May 2022, this podcast will likely be released in July 2022. It's meant to appeal to the British market, which is ironic because literally nobody on the planet will listen to it. Welcome to lunchtime.org.uk podcast. I'm here with the Animitch.
You think this shit's coming out in July?
I'll outsource it to Bran, it'll be fine. The Catsman.
Can anything stop the Animitch?
The Mooglepies.
This will never see the light of day.
The Shinty-Mungo.
I like that you just completely skipped Mike, who was at the top of the list.
That's because he's out of order and I'm not introducing him because of it. The Woolyshambler.
Hi, we're still kicking.
And the Mike.
Okay, I've got some opinions on the diversity in this podcast already.
Well, we do not like either of those things, so you can go. We don't like opinions and we don't like diversity.
I thought you were going to say podcasts. What are we talking about first?
Designed by Monolith Soft, known for their work on the Xenogears series of JRPGs, Disaster Day of Crisis was initially meant to release in 2006 for the Nintendo Wii, then known as the Resolution, but was pushed back to a 2008 release as Monolith Soft was unfamiliar with the Wii architecture and had difficulties working on an action-adventure 4 game. The game took inspiration from American disaster movies and sought to appeal to an American audience. Ironically, though, the game never saw a release in the States due to, in part, by poor sales in Europe and Australia, and a lack of interest from Nintendo of America. Today we're talking about Disaster Day of Crisis.
What did Reggie say about it?
He said it was a piece of shit.
He said it looked like garbage.
He hated it.
He was wrong, you know? I think he was wrong, because I enjoyed this game.
I also enjoyed this game.
Regrettably, I also enjoyed this game.
I think it's been long enough since the time period where Waggle was enforced upon us that now I can look back and I can play Waggle games and I can be like, yeah, this is fun to do.
Well, I look back and play them and I'm like, oh, this is quaint. I'm rather enjoying this. It reminds me of simpler times.
You played it on an emulator and had to remap the controls constantly because you hadn't mapped certain types of Waggle.
I also played Mario Galaxy on an emulator without Waggle, and guess what? It's a better game.
Yeah, but the only waggle you need in Mario Galaxy is you just need it for an extra added boost for the jump. In Disaster Day of Crisis, you're using your waggle in different ways, seemingly every level. It's fantastic.
The gameplay of Disaster Day of Crisis, it's mostly a shooter, really. It's like it's a light gun game, really.
It's a third-person action game.
Where most of the gameplay is light gun shooting.
I wouldn't say most of it. I would say probably about 40% of it is.
It was supposed to be a third-person action game where you wander around destroyed cityscapes, play mini-games, and then you rescue people, and each person you rescue asks you to do like a slightly different action with the Wii remote. And there's also like driving sections that are kind of short, and there's also shooting sections. But the game starts off being like 33% shooting and 66% wandering around, and it ends up being the opposite.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. It's interesting how it does use everything that the Wiimote and the Nunchuck did at the time. It's a really good showcase for the Wii, and it kind of keeps things fresh. Like, it doesn't really get frustrating when it pushes different weird waggle mechanics in, because it's like, oh, here's a fun new thing I can do for like 5 minutes, and then back to the main sort of gameplay of wandering around looking for people to save.
Yeah, because it just kept changing what the base of the game was, it never has time for it to really get dull.
Like, compared to your average minigame compilation, there's a lot more depth and interest when, you know, the minigames are like actual things that are like stop-offs integrated into this really stupid but entertaining story about disasters. About one guy having the worst day of his life because he can't save everyone.
He's had a very bad day.
You want to talk about the protagonist of this game for a second?
You don't know what kind of day he had, okay?
It's a guy whose arc in the game is about not being able to save a guy from falling directly into an open volcano.
His best friend, Steve.
His best friend Steve falls into a volcano that was, I should point this out, the volcano just started erupting. It wasn't his fault. He didn't make the volcano erupt. And he just spends the whole game really guilty, like, oh, I let him die in the volcano. And I'm like, no, you didn't, dude. And then he meets the guy's sister, and his sister is like, you're the guy who killed my brother. And I'm like, no, he fell into a fucking volcano.
And for some reason, the protagonist, what's the protagonist's name again?
Raymond Bryce.
Ray, that's it, Ray.
Tribal tattoos.
Tribal tattoos, Raymond Bryce with his slick back anime haircut. Raymond Bryce, like, doesn't for some reason have enough of a spine to just like tell this woman, no, I didn't kill your brother. He fell into a volcano. I tried to save him. I guess it's this persecution complex he's got because he blames himself as well.
Yeah.
So I guess he agrees with her.
It's really funny. It's funny, like his actions are funny, and it's also funny that the primary antagonist of the game is just a guy who loves natural disasters.
So yeah, the plot of the game is Raymond Bryce is he's a rescue operator. He goes into natural disasters.
But he's an ex-Marine as well.
Yeah, that's why he can shoot good. So he's an ex-rescue artist as well, because his friend Steve dies. He's retired, but he gets pulled back into the force by Barry from Dead Rising. He tells him, oh, they've captured this girl and this professor. You gotta go save them. And who's them? It's fucking Surge, bro. Surge is gone. They've stolen nukes, and for some reason, Mother Nature's out to kill you too. So you gotta fight Surge, which is made up of basically all the cast of Devil May Cry 3. You've got Arkham and the Jester, he's in that group. You've got Dan Southworth, also known as Virgil, doing a terrible southern accent. And Dante, who's a crazy psycho who just fucking loves natural disasters, bro. Can't get enough of them.
Yeah, and like, these guys don't set off the natural disasters initially. It's just like, oh, you gotta save these people from this earthquake zone. And then there's a tsunami, and then a volcano erupts.
And then tornadoes.
And it's just like, it's every natural disaster in the world happens back to back in one day, and you are just trying to rescue everyone.
Listen, some of it makes sense because tsunamis do happen as a result of earthquakes.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Some of it makes sense, and you can understand, okay, if there's been an earthquake, there's been a shift in the, tectonic bullshit, then maybe this volcano also would happen to go as well. Like, that makes sense. It's when the hurricane shows up that is like, what the fuck is this? Because that's completely unprecedented.
I was just happy that someone in SimCity is just cooking every disaster that they can get their hands on, you know? You just got to play it that way sometimes.
Why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of playing it that way, the game plays itself completely straight.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not played for comedy in any way, and somehow that makes that funnier when you're like running away from a pyroclastic flow, or you're shooting a bear to like save a young girl's life.
Yeah, the bear fight.
The bear.
Or when you're eating a big hamburger to get your health back.
Yes.
I forgot about the burgies.
So American.
Yeah, the protagonist doesn't look like your average American. I thought they could have done something really funny with that. Like he looks like a Japanese video game protagonist. The burger was a wonderful touch.
Yeah, eating the giant burger, drinking the giant drink as well, which is like such a fat, wide drink. Oh yeah, the watermelon.
Yeah.
Well, he eats like a stereotypical American, so they got that right.
It's a fun game. I'd say it gets frustrating in parts. There's one driving section that I had to redo like 20 times because you can't see where you're going, and until you hit the thing that you're not supposed to hit, you've got no idea which way you're supposed to be turning. So it's just like a trial and error. And I really didn't like the last boss fight because the waggle controls, it's waggle all the way through, like QuickTime events, and they just wouldn't work for me. But Shiny got them to work fine, so maybe I just suck at waggling.
Your mileage may vary.
Ironically, I didn't have any problem with that part of the game. The only part of the game where my waggle binding didn't work was the parachute segment. I still, to this day, have no idea how that was supposed to work.
I don't even remember that bit.
If you fail the parachute segment enough, the game's just like, whatever, we'll just keep going. I think I like the game, and I like the core gameplay of saving people and driving and shooting, but the further it gets on, particularly, I'd say only really with the shooting, the further the shooting gets on, the weaker it gets. This might be a me problem because I played it only on New Game Plus, but basically, towards the end of the game, it just turns all of the enemies into huge bullet sponges.
You played it on New Game Plus hard, and also you refuse to use one of the mechanics that make you do double damage.
Having said that, though, Catsman, did you upgrade your weapons throughout the game?
He did. He knew how to do that.
We did not realize we could do this, and so all of the enemies were bullet sponges. We made it through, but like maybe the shooting sections would have been more fun if we'd done like 5 times the damage we should have been doing.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like my damage was pretty similar to yours on New Game Plus, even though I had upgraded everything. But it might just be a New Game Plus balance problem. I can't imagine it being bad on the regular game if you had upgraded the weapons.
I did that and I had no issues pretty much. Like it felt normal. I had to use healing items every so often, but it was fine.
The other thing that annoyed me is that the game sometimes puts you into these like gimmick boss fights where the objective isn't just to like shoot the boss, and those really annoyed me.
I kind of like them. I like
It's shaking up the gameplay, and
yeah, I like that you got to shoot guys' knives out of the air.
I like the knives.
You had a lot of trouble with the like sniper section, which I found was fine.
Yeah, the sniper guy pissed me off because you're not allowed to shoot him. You just have to run back and forth and like stop in certain places, but there's not really, he doesn't have like a laser sight or anything, so there's no actual way in the game because the camera controls are also really wonky to establish whether he has a line of sight to you or not.
I think he does have
He does have a laser sight.
I think he does.
He does have a laser sight though. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
I hated the guy who just went between like the trucks and then he like would periodically come and smash you in the face.
Oh yeah, that was boring.
I didn't mind that guy.
I hated that guy.
I beat that guy first try, but I hated the guy who holds the grenade and like you have to like shoot debris to make it hit him, but the problem is that if he gets the grenade out and then you shoot some debris and it hits him, he blows everything up.
Yes, that one's a little bit like it could have been telegraphed better when he's about to pull the grenade.
I think he says a voice line, and he is very obvious.
No, the telegraphing isn't the problem. The problem is that it's a fucking light gun game and fucking sitting there for 40 seconds hiding behind cover, just waiting for one item to appear so you can pop out of cover and shoot it is not fun.
I think that's a problem with a lot of the shooting gameplay, and it actually is just waiting behind cover until it's safe to pop out and shoot, which, especially in the end.
Isn't that just what light gun games are, though?
No.
There's too much cover. If you look at something like Virtua Cop or House of the Dead, you don't have the option to wait behind cover. You just got to shoot as fast as possible. I think if they'd made it like that, the game would be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's not very dynamic.
Because as it stands, once it gets a little bit difficult, you're just like, I'll hide behind cover, and then when I'm sure no one's going to shoot me, I'll pop out, and that's it.
There are moments, though, that they mix that up so that being in cover is bad. Like, there are enemies that fire explosives at you that you have to shoot out of the air, otherwise you take damage regardless if you're in ammo.
I think they should have put more of those in.
And there's also a section in the flooded church where if you're in cover, you start drowning.
Oh,
That
yeah.
bit was cool, yeah. That was actually a good mechanic. I really liked the boss fight with the mech as well. It took us forever because we didn't have upgraded weapons, but I thought it was just really funny that at the end of the game, this guy just gets into a Metal Gear and starts firing missiles at you.
Dante gets in a Metal Gear and starts to kill you. It's awesome.
The mech fight was really good, but I will say the quick time event bit afterwards is fucking shit.
Yeah, it's not great. And then you defuse a nuclear bomb, and that's the end of the game.
And the nuclear bomb defusal bit is great. I loved it.
And throughout the game, you have people talking to you on like a comms radio that comes out of the Wiimote. So it's got that awful crackly Wiimote like
love that.
intercom. I like it. Yeah, I think it's good.
That's the best thing about the Wiimote is the microphone, the speaker.
Overall, fun game. Probably wouldn't play it again, but I'm glad that I did play it.
It is a very flawed game. It's kind of annoying. You can tell that the team hadn't made one of these games before, but I think it's charming in that we're far enough from like the Wii era of gaming now, where you look at a guy with like spiky hair and tribal tattoos and you're like, haha, yeah, game characters did used to look like that.
It's quite brown and grey, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's a fucking natural disaster game. What do you expect?
Yeah, that is allowed.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
But you gotta replay it again so you can upgrade your weapons, because the final stinger at the end of the game, a week later, after the event, the president is just chilling out.
Oh, yeah.
And someone comes, Mr. President, we have a problem. There's a fucking meteor coming towards Earth, my man. And he's like, oh my god, get Ray in a fucking spacesuit, send him up there to fire rockets at this fucking meteor.
There's only one man for the job.
Do you all remember when in Armageddon, Steve Buscemi goes moon crazy and kills everyone with a Gatling gun?
No.
It didn't happen.
It did happen.
I remember when I was a little kid and my mom was helping me with an assignment, and she actually called someone up from the local observatory. And an observatory technician with like a Maryland Southern accent was just like on the other line, and just like apropos of nothing, he started talking to me about Armageddon, and he was just like, well, yeah, and you see those ships with their extra rockets, and it's, I mean, around the office, we call that Armageddon.
I thought you were going to say he was going to talk about the end of the world.
I think the last thing I'd say about Disaster Day of Crisis is there is a mechanic in which you have to breathe deeply to clean your lung of ash.
Yes!
God, yeah, there is.
I love it. T-Post gang. I do this in real life now ever since we played this game.
Do you really?
Yes.
Where he like holds his arms out wide and just like does a big breath in. It's like a yoga thing. It's very funny.
Press X to breathe.
So, final word on Disaster Day of Crisis and Monolith Soft. Like, you think having this big of a fucking failure under their belt and on a new system, they'd die like most devs, but Monolith Soft, you know, they bounce back harder than any other guys I've seen. Like, Xenoblade is killing it these days, so...
Yeah. They went back and they made a game that sold like shit, and then they became a support studio for Nintendo. They also made 2 Weeaboo games that you love.
2?
Weren't they also involved in Breath of the Wild as the support for the open world on it?
Yeah, because they do like some of the most interesting open worlds in video games. They do all Nintendo's open world design now.
So the legend of Disaster Day of Crisis has been relegated to a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Where you can fight Raymond Bryce as a Mii, I think, and hurricanes attack you.
Drinky poo, winky poo, winky dinky, stinky poo, jinky, poo, flinky, flu.
I've got a quote for you. Torbjorn is more old than Lucio is black.
So true. So true.
Diversity space method.
I've got to say, I love that it's taken us so long to getting around to recording this podcast that this is now like completely outdated news.
Yeah, news cycles move too fast for the show.
Especially the Blizzard news cycle.
I had a joke about drinking your employee's breast milk. That's just, it's gonna go nowhere now.
Still the most grim thing to come out of them.
Did you know Bobby Kotick is back as the president of the company?
He's back. He's still there.
Christ.
So to take everyone's minds off Blizzard torturing all of their employees incessantly, they released a weird diversity octagon that most people started comparing to phrenology.
They've been developing this with the King's University or something, right?
No, it came out of King, the company King.
Yeah, King, the company Candy Crush. They're marketing people like, we use this in our games to make sure that they have maximum diversity. And then one of the developers was like, I've never seen this. What the hell is this? This seems really tone deaf. And yeah, you get like an octagon or a decagon, and then you draw people's diversity in it like you would like a stat block for a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character.
Yeah.
The example we've got is from Blizzard, is Anna from Overwatch. Overwatch have said that they have never used these diversity pentagrams, but that this has just been applied by the company in their press release to kind of give an example. So Anna is a 60-year-old Egyptian lady sniper who has one eye from Overwatch. She is on their own polygon, scoring quite high for culture and race due to the whole Egypt thing, quite high for age due to being 60. Physical ability, she scores kind of middling for having lost an eye, and gender identity, she's about halfway through. I don't know what... Is that because she's a woman?
I think because she's a woman.
It's because she's a woman, yes.
Oh!
A woman is 50%?
It's because it's based upon representation. So women are less represented than men. So that is a step up from being...
I see. I just thought like 8 is trans and 1 is cis. And then there's a bunch of in-betweens.
Yeah.
Trans would be 10, I think.
No, it's not as nuanced as that.
It's almost like we're pulling apart how this works and making sure that it doesn't.
This is the thing. So no one can figure out exactly how to fit people in, which is why the whole Torbjorn is older than Lucio is black thing is like, on race, what scores you 10 out of 10 for race? Is it being black? Is it being some other minority that's not as represented in video games?
And where do the talking animals and robots score on race and culture?
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day? He's British. That's his culture, I guess.
No, that counts as a disability.
But like Reaper's a ghost. Does that count as disability? Is that a race?
That's physical ability, I think.
Being dead.
He's dead.
So do you want to all go... If you've come up with a diversity polygon...
All right, for my presentation, I picked Lord Vivek.
From
The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. Culture, just maxed out. Dunmer are weird. I figured that's what they were going for with that.
In a fantasy setting where culture is not the same as the cultures in our universe, how do you score that?
Oh, this is a whole kettle of fish.
the Dunmer are extinct in Elder Scrolls, so he's one of the last of his kind.
Oh, that puts you way up.
But do we apply it to the in-universe culture, or do we apply that to our real-world culture?
I think if it's something that doesn't exist in the real world, you have to do it based upon how it is presented within their fake world culture.
So within the game, the Dunmer were, frankly, rightfully sort of loathed.
But the game takes place in the Dunmer land.
Yeah. I'll put it this way: you have analogs for like a traditional European feudal society. I mean, there's a bunch of weird asterisks there, but like you have humans and pretty much like a decent smattering of them, and the Dunmer are just like utterly alien in comparison.
You've put him as race 1, though. Surely he'd be higher if he's a dwarf, right?
He's not a dwarf. Lord Vivek is, he's a Dunmer / Chimer. He's got multiple races, and again, not in a thing where he's like mixed race, like in a thing where he's both of them at once. But yeah. Race 1, mainly because he can kind of also, she can kind of present himself however he wants. All right, age, he's so fucking old. Think like elf years, but like going even further. Cognitive ability, like super fucking smart, blah, blah, blah. So he gets a 1. Physical ability, same thing. Body type, pretty much just kind of average.
So this raises the question as well. If you've got an average body type, I would think about scoring you as a 1, but I would also think about scoring you as a 1 if you were hench and super ripped, because I think those are, from our perspective, like the body types that are...
The G.I. Joe body, yeah. But he's a bit like a twinkier, spindlier, and also half one color, half the other. It's where it gets weird.
Oh yeah, he'll score for that. Yeah.
Facial features, beauty, yeah, it's a Morrowind model. So yeah, super fucking ugly, max diversity.
Looking at this image of this character, compared to what most Morrowind or like just generally that fucking Elder Scrolls characters look like, this is not an unattractive character. I wouldn't put this all the way up there.
Well, I'm into bears, so it's not really working for me. Rounding it out, gender identity. So Lord Vivek is in this kind of superposition. It's like one of those Indian gods where like he has like a female form and a male form. And so just like if female is 5 and male is 1, he's kind of sitting exactly at the average.
I don't know. Does that make him non-binary, which I think would be more than 5?
No, he's not. There's definitely a very, very clear binary, like literally just half and half. Like the feminine parts of it of him are very clearly feminine. The masculine parts are masculine. Like yeah, it's a whole thing. Read more in the 36 Lessons of Vivek.
I won't.
Sexual orientation, he's down for anything, even problematic stuff. And socioeconomic background. Before he was a god, he was a trans prostitute. Yeah.
Wait, so if he used to be a trans prostitute, would that not also bump up his gender identity?
I'd say so.
That might actually give him 1 more point, up to 3.
I'd push him above 5 for that.
Yeah. I feel like this character, at the very least, gender identity would be a 5 because there is the female version of this character. Is it the type of thing where it flips between one or the other? Is it constantly both?
Yeah. It flips between one or the other.
I would say it's at least a 5 then, because
okay,
part of its iteration is female, which is a scoring 5 based on Anna.
True.
All right, yeah.
Well, I think you've chosen a very diverse character, actually, Mike, and you've reasoned it through pretty well. So that's going to be a tough one to beat.
Does anyone think they can beat that?
Well, Moogle's posted his next. Do you want to?
So I think everyone here is going to know this character.
Do you want us to try and guess?
I want you to try and guess who the character is.
Okay.
You know this character based on what they like. Specifically, Specs and Shiny there.
Based on what they like.
Is it Donkey Kong?
So they're old. They're either really old or really young.
Diddy.
Scrooge McDuck?
It is a him. It is male. Like, the character is male.
Middle-aged gay man who used to be kind of poor and is black and cultured a bit.
Gay Tony?
It is not.
Mr. Gold and Mr. Silver.
I'm not that kind of guy.
This is from a Japanese game series.
I'm out.
He likes dirt.
Oh, Ryu?
Water without ice.
Oh, yes.
Why is Ryu so high on age?
Because he's 58.
What?
It's 2022. He was born in 1964.
I guess it's what game does he appear in where he's 58 though?
Well, assuming that Street Fighter 6 is set in 2020 or 2022, he's in his late 50s by this point.
He looks damn good.
He does, doesn't he? That's why he's got a fucking 0 on body type and physical ability.
All right, you're going to need to reason some of this through. So, is Ryu gay?
He's not. He's asexual. He never shows any interest in sex whatsoever.
True.
I don't think it should count unless the character is confirmed asexual in the material.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm putting that as a 0.
He has who was an 18-year-old, high schooler chasing after him, very thirsty for him. He does fucking nothing.
That just means he's not a nonce.
Yeah.
It just means he's
18
smart.
and a nonce, Specs.
When he's fucking 50,
If he's
that's
50,
a
then,
weird
yeah.
age gap, especially if she's his student.
She wasn't 18 when he was 50.
Okay, the point is, look, unless he's confirmed, I think
That's fair enough.
he's just one of those chaste anime protagonists who's like,
He definitely
I don't
is.
have time for love. I have to save the world. You know what I mean?
Which is the most boring sexual orientation of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we'll score him a 1 then for sexual orientation.
Score him a 1 on that.
Yeah. Bring that down.
You've given him some cognitive ability. What for?
You think he's pretty dumb.
He is.
Yeah, he's a fucking moron.
He's fucking dumb. He's so fucking stupid. He is. He really is. There's something in the comics about him trying to use a computer, and it's fucking wonderful. He has an MSN conversation with Sakura, really long distance, and he's amazing in it. Socioeconomic background, poor as fuck, raised in rural Japan.
Yeah, fair.
Like, he really does love dirt and jumping into light fierce, so...
And water.
And water
no
without
ice.
ice.
All of this makes sense, but I don't think it's beaten Mike's pick.
I don't think it beats Lord
Does
Flybeck either.
anyone have a character that could stand up to Mike?
I have a character that can maybe stand up to Mike. I give you Kirby.
Kirby!
Okay, so talk us through this.
Okay, so let's start with socioeconomic background. Kirby has no concept of money.
Yep.
Kirby lives on his own, middle of nowhere. You know, he's a rambler.
He owns a house, right, though?
In some of the media, he has a house.
On the other hand, though, has he ever known poverty? Has he ever known hunger?
Yeah, I think he doesn't need money to live.
He does not know. He's constantly hungry.
He's constantly hungry.
Do you know what I think? I think having no concept or regard for money puts you at a low for that, because it means you don't have to worry about it. And the whole diversity point of that is that it's something that you are lacking in a privileged context. So because Kirby doesn't have to concern himself with money, I would say that that's a 1 or a 0.
I would argue that Kirby is under the rule of King Dedede, who brands him as a criminal for trying to take what he needs to survive, and therefore Kirby is persecuted by the ruling classes for the way he lives his
I
life.
see. Okay, you got it.
No, King Dedede is a good guy.
This is not the plot of Kirby. The plot of Kirby is the opposite of this. Kirby persecutes King Dedede.
King Dedede tried to stop Kirby getting all the parts of the Star Rod and unleashing Nightmare onto Dreamworld. He was one of the good guys.
Yeah, these are the stages of history, okay? Kirby is using primitive acquisition and is basically just a one-man roving band of bandits, whereas King Dedede is it's feudalism. It's the next stage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
I'm gonna argue against this by the Great Cave Offensive in Kirby Superstar.
That's true.
Where Kirby collects like 30 treasures and sells them all for money.
Hey, it makes a killing.
You're right about that. Kirby does make a killing on that. Okay, I'll back down on socioeconomic background.
Specs, you're gonna have to explain to me race. He's the same color as a British man who's been in the sun too long.
Race and culture, Kirby is the second last of his kind, assuming that Meta Knight is also a Star Warrior. So there is no one other than Meta Knight who doesn't even like Kirby, let's be honest, because he's a little babby, that shares a culture or a race with Kirby on his entire planet.
Unless you're playing Amazing Miro or Mass Attack, in which case there are multiple Kirby.
But they're all Kirby as well.
Yeah, I can respect that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, age, Kirby is baby.
Yeah, he is baby, that's true.
Yeah, he's a baby, so that's the lowest.
No.
Age is a curve.
It's like a horseshoe.
I'm just confused now.
So basically the most represented age bracket in video games is probably like 16 to 25, 18 to 30, something like that. So being very, very young or very, very old is the prerequisites for having a high age score.
I've knocked off a blob because we know now that there was to be a kid Kirby, so Kirby could potentially have been younger in a Kirby game, but we've never seen him as young as he could possibly be. Cognitive ability, I could have maybe given him more. Kirby is practically mute. He doesn't really speak, but he can understand language.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It doesn't affect him that much, but it probably would be difficult for him to fully integrate into society with the way he's able to speak.
Sure.
I would like to argue against this because Kirby's Ghost Trap has him talk and viscerally insult every other member of the cast.
What is Kirby's Ghost Trap?
That is the Puyo Puyo clone.
I've never even heard of that.
It's Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, but for Super Nintendo.
All right, so in some media, Kirby is able to talk potentially. Then,
and he's fucking vicious. He's fucking evil.
I've knocked Kirby up to like a 2 for physical ability because he's got no fingers and thumbs.
Well, he could just absorb someone with fingers and thumbs.
Also, he can fucking fly. Are you
He
kidding?
can do anything.
Yeah.
That's his gimmick. He can do anything if he sucks someone.
All right. Maybe I've gone a bit overboard with giving him a 2 there.
I think some of these are okay, but I think you've over-egged the pudding. I think he's done better than Moogle's pick, but I don't think he's beaten out Lord Vivek yet.
I think before you even start on body type, I would put this all the way down to a 1 because the number of little round creatures that exist which are loved by everyone is very, very high.
Yeah. Also, in a long, winding, like bass backwards kind of way, he's basically got dad bod, which is, coming back in style.
I just think there's a lot of soft round friends in video games, and he's one of them. And I feel like that would lower him on the body type diversity spectrum.
Perfect roundness.
Why did you do gender identity as 3?
I don't think Kirby's really that much male, really. I think he's kind of what's the word? Androgynous.
He's a little bit androgynous, but he's just a guy. Everyone knows he's
just
a
an old guy.
The type of guy you could have a beer with.
What's Kirby's sexual orientation?
I've gone with asexual.
He'll kiss anyone. As long as they have food.
He will. That's true. That's true. I've got one.
Is this for the diversity cup, or is this a fun one?
I want you to guess it.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Oh, my God. There's a
Oh
lot.
my fucking god.
What in the fuck am I looking at?
So this is someone with multiple forms. How many forms have we got here? We've got grey, green, blue, purple. Hold on.
It's 8.
So a single character that has 8 forms.
8 forms? Who has 8 forms?
Ben 10. Ben 10's got 8 forms.
No, he doesn't. He has 10 forms, you idiot.
No.
No, he's called Ben 10 because he's 10 years
The
old.
name is a misnomer. He's 10 years old.
Eevee!
Oh, good call, but no. It's a human.
It's a human.
A human?
It's the same human, but from different entries in the same series. Like, they're getting older as the series goes on.
No, good guess, but no.
Is it Sora?
No.
Is it Harry Dubois based on the different...
No. They're the protagonist of their game. This is all from the same game. It's not a series thing. This person is in the same game.
Ooh, from the same game.
But they're only gay in one form.
That's right. And there are different races in different forms and different ages in different forms.
Another clue.
It's a game from the noughties.
What console?
GameCube.
GameCube.
Yeah, I think you've got us beat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Killer 7.
Oh, very good. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Can you explain some of this to me? Because I've not played Killer 7.
Killer 7 is a game where you play as a squad of assassins who are all actually one person, one old man called Harmon Smith, who changes physical shape as he changes the personalities in his head. The personalities in his head are also the people he's killed in the past.
Oh.
So the red one is Harmon himself. He is a wheelchair-bound old man. He was born in the 18th century, so I'm not sure about socioeconomic background, how that relates to people born in the modern day, but I just put him in the middle. Age, super old. Cognitive ability, he's comatose most of the time. Physical ability, again, wheelchair-bound, but he does wield a giant rifle, so that's why I put it at 10, because he can still shoot that thing. Let's see, there's one gay Killer 7, confirmed gay. There's one person who wears a Hawaiian shirt, which is why I put him slightly higher on sexual orientation.
Nice.
Nice.
And then there's 2 confirmed straight people, and the rest of is put in at 2. There's one woman, the pink one, go figure.
So I like the pick, but I have no idea whether a character with 7 forms edges out Mike's.
It's one character.
If it's one character,
They're
do
one
we take
person.
the average of all of these, do you think?
Do you just take the biggest score from everyone and just add them together?
I still think if you did that, I think Mike is still on par with
Really?
this. Yeah, looking at the spread.
Are you ready? We're gonna win this, baby. We're gonna win this. Well, I'm not gonna say guess who it is or whatever, because I did pictures and shit, so here we go. Here's my character.
God damn it.
It's Jinx! It's Jinx from Pokemon! So, gender identity is 5. They can only be female. Sexual orientation, because they're only female, they have to have sex with different species. Socioeconomic background, it's a slave, a fight slave.
Yeah, fair.
The culture of the Jinx is they have their own culture. They work with Santa. Not many other Pokemon work with Santa.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Race, black.
Great.
Age,
Fucking
age.
damn
They
it.
evolve at 30. So I'm gonna say it's average age. So it's a 1 or a 2. Cognitive ability, it's psychic type. Okay, so it has a higher cognitive ability. Physical ability, because it's working for Santa. I think it has fingers and thumbs, arms and legs. It can do its things. Body type, it's like a squat potato thing. So it's a bit.
Jesus
it's not like an
Christ.
average. Like, I don't think this thing has any hips.
I don't know. Are you not saying that that's a sexy looking lady?
That's why it's not like a 1. Like, some people would be put off by the look of this thing, but some people would have sex with it.
Some people, I can't name any.
I think I won.
I think you could probably push cognitive ability down a little bit more
Whoa!
because it's psychic type, it can probably telepathically talk to people if it needs to.
Pokemon are like animals, although that said, I guess being like an animal it's not abnormal for a Pokemon, is it?
No.
You don't expect them to be. Being psychic type, would anything be a disadvantage? That said, right, the rest of it, I'm just going to scroll back and forth. I think he might have Mike beat, but if so, only by a tiny bit.
Well,
Mitch has got more consistency because you've got Lord Vivek on some things 0, whereas I think Mitch is playing like an area game. He's got less zeros.
All right. Let's see. So we talked about this, and I think we should move my race to maxed out and gender identity to pretty high. Yeah.
Oh, that is right. Mike under-egged the pudding, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the case, Mike still got this looking at it side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vivek is a good pick.
Oh, no.
Although it was very close.
Yeah. And I will take my crown as the least bigoted person on this podcast.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm sorry that my life experiences and the intersection of my various identities have led me to being a better person than you guys.
Before we wrap up this segment, I really enjoyed just talking about where these fit. So I would be happy if we just had like a randomly selected character where we would discuss where we think they go on this, in the next one.
That would be fun.
Like it's just like a segment of the podcast.
Okay.
I think that would be fun to do.
This is a stupid way to build characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
The solution to not having diverse characters in video games is to hire writers and designers from a broad spectrum of backgrounds and allow them to use their personal experiences to design their own characters and not say, oh, that's not going to go well with the white American public who want to play it. You just say, oh, yeah, that's a cool character. We'll put it in the game. And if people don't buy it, then they're idiots.
I agree.
Yeah, or you could just hire gay guys like me because we're the best at it.
Just put numbers in it. We gotta have numbers. You gotta be able to quantify.
It's funny how much this is just like shooting themselves in the foot because it's like the opposite of intersectionality.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just literally so tone deaf.
It's just all of these things are one dimension and
It's pitting like everything in competition with one another. Like, oh, you are more diverse racially than I am, or you're more diverse in your sexual orientation than I am. It's like it's not a competition to see who's the most oppressed. Like, it's fucking insane.
It clearly was a competition, as we proved.
well, I mean, yeah, but it is, and I won.
I'll just point out that I did not participate.
Well, maybe if you had, you would have won.
I couldn't because my cognitive ability didn't allow me to.
You see.
Extremely bright when he connects from solar flare.
Let's talk about dreams.
Specs, I'm going to start with your sleep talking, which was the creation of Suliano Grande Bambo.
Yes, I sleep talk, and for the last maybe 6 months, I have been recording myself every night and posting my best sleep talks to the Dream Hut channel we have in our Discord. One of the best of these is when I just shouted the word Bambo, followed by Suliano Grande Bambo. He told me.
Bambo. Suliano Grande Bambo. He told me.
A lot of his streams are just doing offensive impressions of like Italians, Spanish people.
So there's also one where I just make a load of unintelligible noises and then finish with, they do say that, don't they?
Thank you, great. They do say that. I don't know where all that came from, but apparently they say it.
I'll put them in the podcast as like the between segment noises that I tend to put in. So if you're wondering why I just randomly say some weird shit between segments, it's me asleep.
Okay, I'm going to go through the list. I'm just going to send each of you your dream to read out. And if you have any...
Well, I have my own.
Oh, you have your... Do you want to start with your dream?
Oh, okay, sure. So this is a Simpsons dream I had. It's outlined in the format of an episode of The Simpsons. So Homer is growing weed in the living room. FBI agents appear behind him. Homer blames Bart for the weed, and while they argue, the kitchen train set catches fire. Marge, Homer, and Bart exit the house as firefighters arrive. One more character leaves as well. Looks like Flanders' mom dress-wise. Hey Bart, that was a pretty crappy thing that happened to you. Wow, name of token celebrity that doesn't exist. What are you doing here? You should come to the club and jam with us sometime. Smash cut to Bart on stage at a hipster club. He is holding an oversized saxophone. He is terrible and the audience laughs. Bart sits down at a table looking sad. He looks shocked at someone on stage. It's Lisa with her sax. She starts playing the first 5 notes of Undertale as the crowd cheer. Cut to Bart and Lisa leaving the bar. Wow, Lisa, I didn't know you liked Underwatch. Whenever Underwatch is said, it sounds like a YouTube poo. Yeah, I love Underwatch. Alarm wakes me up.
I love that.
Jesus.
You've just written a modern Simpsons episode.
Yeah. I love when dreams are like framed as a TV show or something. Whenever Zexu has dreams, it's always like she's got like director's notes for her dream and stuff. Like it's always like it's being acted out by people.
We watch too much television.
Mine tend to be about me, like, and more kind of first person-y, so I never get that kind of real, oh, it looks like I'm watching a made-up show that my brain has invented.
Specs, as someone who has read all of your dreams yesterday, I can tell you that you predominantly dream about shit and piss.
Yes.
So true.
I've just sent you. Do you want to read that one out? And then the next one is yours as well. I'll send that to you as well.
I woke up for a piss and also had a dream after that of going for a piss at work. All of the toilet cubicles were open plan, but when you approached the toilet, the walls came up from the floor to surround you for privacy. I accidentally pissed down the back of the toilet and had to wipe it up, but the walls went back down after I finished pissing so people could see me just wiping up piss with toilet paper.
And the second piss and shit dream is amazing.
Highlight of a dream I just woke up from. At a friend's house and needed a shit. He has a toilet in his garden, not an outhouse or anything, just a plumbed toilet that has no coverings or walls to protect it from the elements. I decide to shit in it, in full view of my friend's mum, and my own grandma. I flush, and not only does the toilet flush, but so does the nearby bird bath. As I return towards the house, my grandma tells me that the toilet just flushes into the artificial duck pond. I look over at the pond, and the dream zooms in on a little pipe in the middle of the pond, which is almost blocked with sausage-shaped excrements. One of the sausages is pushed off and floats away as my large log arrives in the pipe. I had been eating sweet corn. Later, I tell my friend's girlfriend about the shit pond and we look over at the pond in time to see a turd rocket out of the pipe. It clears the pond vertically by about 20 centimetres and then splashes into the water, startling some nearby ducks.
All-time great.
That is a beautiful
Incredible.
dream.
That's a good dream. I wish I had dreams.
The zoom ins in that dream were great as well. Like,
Like
it did
zooms.
follow. Yeah, it did a proper like motion
Tracking
blur sort of
shots.
zoom in. Yeah, it was really good.
I wondered, like, did people, before television and like movies, like before the concept of like filming something, did people's dreams like have that shit in it?
No, they didn't. I think they've done studies on this.
Dreams used to be in black and white.
I don't fucking believe that shit for a second.
Dreams used to be black and white until television was invented. Color television.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
That's true.
I don't believe that.
It's true.
Because
People remember
didn't
it.
see in black and white. And all of my dreams, for the most part, are like me existing in my space. So why would that be in black and white when I don't see me existing in my space in black and white?
Maybe people who watched black and white films did.
I guess we'd have to go talk to like Amish people or something who don't own a television and see what color they dream in.
Amish people are allowed to own televisions. It fucked me up when I found out. I feel like they're traitors to their own kind.
Yeah.
Last night's stream involved a factory that seemed to be sorting and cleaning feces to turn into meals, as well as one of my friends revealing that he had a secret year-old baby that he hadn't told us about. I had a dream that I got into a sword fight with my friend Jared and then sat around on a couch in a half-furnished room, still awaiting flooring, a proper ceiling, and some wall plastering. I was talking to Vladimir Putin. He seemed like a friendly guy, and we exchanged numbers, and I showed him on a map where my parents lived. I told him I had to go, and he tried to kiss me. I explained that I didn't feel that way about him, and he looked quite upset. I worried if I had just precipitated thermonuclear war.
That is a great one. That's really
like
good.
The sense of like, oh god, I really should have kissed Putin. Now he's gonna nuke my parents' house. Like that was honestly that was the thing I woke up with. I was like, oh god, what have I done to Putin?
Waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, really. I had a dream that I went to KFC, but there were waitresses doing table service, and it was kind of fancy inside. When my food came, the waitress told me not to start eating yet because the correct sauce hadn't arrived. She then walked me through which types of fried chicken paired best with which chicken sauce. Before she left, she leant over the table and her mouth extended out as if it was a retractable trunk or proboscis, and she kissed one of the pieces of chicken. She apologized and told me that she couldn't resist because it tastes so good.
Yeah, I think it's not just him being obsessed with pissing and shitting. He's obsessed with kissing as well, it seems.
I think I've learned so much about sex by doing this. I don't have one personally, but my friend Elliot had a dream in which he was having dinner with Tom Scott, and they both had some kind of mysterious braised meat, but Tom Scott kept referring to it as the Forbidden Flesh.
Who the fuck is Tom Scott?
He's that guy in the red shirt who's like, I'm at place.
What?
You know, he wears a red shirt and he's like, I'm at the world's largest mattress or something. And then he talks about it. It's like a YouTube celebrity. He like talks about the world's largest mattress for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
know
recognize this
him.
guy.
I know the man.
I dreamt I was back at my job at the maid service, being introduced to a new customer. I'd been told in advance that this customer was very specific about etiquette and manners. What this meant in practice was that the man had the power to walk through walls, and expected me to be able to do the same. As he showed me around his massive house, he just kept walking through the walls, while listing everything he needed me to do in each room, and I had to scramble through the nearest doorways to keep up with him. The man had no face or even a complete head, only a worn-down nub sticking out of the collar. At the end of this tour of 20-plus rooms, he handed me a recipe for some kind of fish casserole he wanted me to make for his teenage son, and I was jolted awake instantly.
Very good. Very good dream.
It's like the intersection of surrealism and like a stress dream from someone who's had to work in the service industry.
Yeah.
I love when you've got to like conform to real world rules, but like the dream doesn't. So you're like, oh god, how do I navigate this like non-Newtonian space?
That's me in all dreams. Like you only act like yourself in a dream, you know. At least I do.
Yeah. A couple of nights ago, I had a disturbing dream. Shiny had broken up with me, and she was dating Chris Rimmer.
This would never happen. Do you want to explain to the listeners who Chris Rimmer is and what the appeal of him?
Chris Rimmer is one of my friends from work. I keep meeting him in the corridor at my current job, but we work different jobs now, and we catch up and hang out. But I keep like talking about him so much to Shiny that she thinks that I've got a thing for Chris Rimmer. So I'm not sure if I was more disturbed by this dream that Shiny had broken up with me and was dating Chris Rimmer, or if that meant that I couldn't date Chris Rimmer.
I think that the plays about you being in love with Chris Rimmer started as a result of this dream, though.
Might have done.
Yeah.
Because I think you were projecting.
I saw Chris Rimmer the other day.
I know you did. You tell me every time.
Love Rimmer.
Got rimmed in the corridor, if you know what I mean. Woke up with the words J. Edgar... Woke up with the words J. Edgar Hoover Memorial Pie in my brain.
What?
What do you think's in a J. Edgar Hoover Memorial Pie?
I just woke up with the statement J. Edgar Hoover Memorial Pie in my head.
I thought that was part of the dream, like you had that pie for your brain.
No, I just woke up and it was just words in my head. J. Edgar Hoover Memorial Pie.
I am rubbing my temples right now trying to figure out a chicken hawk joke.
We've got more specs, but I want to take a break of specs, as I think we're penetrating too deep into his psyche, like Psychonaut style.
Let's do Moogle's one from yesterday. That was good.
Oh, don't do that.
Is this the one where you got a handwritten note from Jacob Rees-Mogg?
No, although that one was quite funny also. Body Horror and Bugs had an extremely vivid fever dream. I've had COVID for the last week now. Last night, where I was still living with my parents, so I knew it was a dream early, but I saw a weird spot or a small hole on my palm. When I looked at it for longer, it suddenly burst outward into a sore, then widened as a cobalt blue centipede emerged from it.
Wow.
It was maybe 2 to 3 centimeters wide and about 6 centimeters long. On the other side of my palm, a second hole opened up and did the same, only the second centipede was like a bronze color. There was no pain, but it was still concerning. I threw the centipedes into the bin and then looked at my hand and could see the holes in it in excruciating detail. The flesh kind of looked like cooked mincemeat like you'd find in either a shepherd's pie or a lasagna. I pointed this out to my family, but no one seemed to find it strange. I went out to dig the centipedes from the bin, only to see another hole forming on my other hand, and then I woke up and my hand twitched.
Not a fan of that.
Very scary.
I'm going to go through a few of my dreams because I've realized while preparing these that my dreams play out like green texts. I had a long dream in which I tried repeatedly to recycle a bag full of antimony. I tried to take it everywhere, but none of the recycling centers would accept it. So eventually I just left the bag in a random place, but someone picked the bag up and returned it to me because they thought I'd lost it. I dreamt that I went to the moon and found a load of moon collectibles, mostly framed pictures left there by previous astronauts. So I took them home, but when I got back, I realized there was no room for them in the house, so I just threw them in the bin.
I like that as a joke in Futurama or something, that they'd find all these pictures of astronauts left behind. That's a funny joke.
I'm going to read out a joke from Squiddo here. I dreamed we had a meetup. We played something like Gartic Phone, except you had to choose one of 4 drawings to recreate, and you didn't have a lot of time to choose. I found it was really difficult and stressful. Everyone's favorite meme that I felt left out of because I didn't get it was the concept of the British royal family dunking some kind of sports ball in a cup of tea. You guys absolutely lost it over this every time it came up. When I tried to tell you I didn't get it, you just looked at me weird and said you couldn't explain the joke.
Okay. When we go to Sweden and we meet Squiddo, we have to do this. Remember this.
Yeah.
It's like a recurring thing in Squiddo's dreams that other people have in-jokes and they just won't explain them to him.
I can't imagine why talking to us.
But also, I just think it's really funny that it's like a stereotypically weird British in-joke. Hold on, Shiny, I'm going to send you a historic dream that you had.
Oh, no.
Shinies are always creepy.
Yeah, I only ever have nightmares.
She has those women thoughts.
This was not a horror dream, actually. This was all right. So this was I can't remember if it was a meetup or if it was just me and Specs were at Moogle's. No, it must have been a meetup. We were at Moogle's house and we were it was just after he'd moved, so we were getting the house tour. And we went into his room and he had bed sheets, which were custom printed with an old fashioned cell phone, like a mobile phone. And it just
the big brick?
Yeah, big brick. And it was it had a cartoon face on it. And it had in impact font, meme like text. On the top it said fuck selfies and underneath it said I like it here.
Oh yeah.
That was all. I do actually. I think I made an image of it.
You
as well.
did. I have it here, but I can't copy paste it to you. But if you search the Dream Hut, you'll find fuck selfies. I like it here.
I had a dream that we were hunting for ghosts in a house, like in Phasmophobia. The ghost was an orangutan, and it wanted to watch me piss.
You have a fucking fetish.
I could have told you.
I don't know if it's just that I only post my dreams if they contain piss, or if all of my dreams are about piss.
I mean, I did only keep the funny ones. If you had a boring dream or a long dream, I didn't put it. There's another one for you.
My cat came into the living room, jumped up onto the back of the sofa, and started rubbing against my dad's shoulders. My dad got up and said, "That's disgusting." The cat had farted right by his face. It kept walking around the room, farting. Somehow we ended up in a situation where the cat was holding my shoulders. The cat was holding my shoulder with one of its front paws, and I was walking. I was walking in a low crouch so that it could still touch the ground with its back paws. We waddled around. We waddled around and it released a constant stream of gas. Oh god, I don't remember these.
My favourite trend for Spec streams was the one where he always ended it with, "and I woke up and needed to piss."
We all do, though. That's the first thing you do when you go.
There was a solid year where it was a dream about piss or shit and then him needing to piss or shit at the end of the dream.
No. There's one very specific dream in here in which the entire dream was about him needing to shit, and then he woke up and he made a point of noting that he didn't need to shit. This will become a recurring segment. Keep posting your dreams in the Dream Hut or writing them down on your phone after you wake up.
Yeah, everything's better now. I don't know why, but it's better. I grew up in the last 2 weeks.
Do we want to do haunted video games?
I think we should do haunted games.
Explain the concept of a haunted video game, Catsman.
Haunted games is kind of a misnomer because it's more like a game that haunts you. And I would describe a haunted game as a game that occupies a very large space in your mind compared to how important or well remembered or remembered whatsoever the game is.
I think it's like when you're a kid and you see something that is like a terrifying part of a movie or a TV show, and then you go back to visit it as an adult and it wasn't that scary. You like conquer that fear.
Or that. Something that you have like a vivid memory of as a kid that you like still think about occasionally, or like, you know, just a game that occupies some part of your mind for some weird reason.
It lives rent-free in your head.
It lives rent-free, yeah.
So many of us went back and played our haunted games. So who wants to talk about a game that has haunted them and what they thought about it?
I'll talk about my haunted video game. It's a Sega Mega Drive game called Marco and His Magic Football.
This game looked fucking terrible.
It was made by Whoopee, and it released on a couple different systems. I had the Mega Drive version as a kid, and I could never get past the second level. You play as Marco, who is a young boy, and he lives in a shitty rural town, which is all brown and grey.
Factories.
Disgusting factories. He lives in
Britain.
Yeah. There's an evil man called the Colonel or something, and he takes over the toy factory, and he makes this green slime that mutates everything. And Marco's football gets kicked in to the slime, and it becomes magic, so he can teleport to him whenever he summons it. And he has to go out from his house to the factory to stop the Colonel. It's not bad. It's a weird platformer.
It's got weird, horrid physics. The football never goes where you want it to. Even though the game is called Marco's Magic Football, that's only one magic thing the football does, which is teleport directly to Marco. It's really I noticed you playing it, and I was like, why is it so hard to just kick the ball in somewhere that you want it? In any other game, you'd be easily able to control the ball. But in Marco, it's like you can only kick it at like certain angles by doing certain special moves. Also, the first level is set in your like average British street, and there's shitloads of people trying to kill you for no reason. And then the second level is set in a sewer, and then the third level is set in an identical looking sewer, and the fourth level is also set in a sewer.
And then you go back out to the street for the next level, and then you go back to the sewer.
I saw you in like a waste disposal factory, and I thought the concept looked cool. Like it's a platformer where you have to kick a ball to like, you know, get up to ledges and stuff. You can stand on the ball and then bounce off it, right?
Yeah.
But there's not that many things you can do with the ball.
It's just really difficult to hit enemies because if they're not in a specific distance from you at a specific height, you're going to have trouble hitting them. It gets really satisfying when you like do like a backwards kick and hit something and do more damage to them, but it's the setup for that is so difficult and not common enough that it's very, very hard.
Do you feel like you have exercised this game by completing it?
I think so. I beat it, so I think now I can put that to rest and I can move on to my next haunted game, which is probably The Grinch on PlayStation 1.
Oh dear.
Moogle, yours is James Pond Robocod, right?
I mean, I had 2 haunted video games that I've played through recently.
Oh, Putty Squad as well. That's right.
Putty Squad less so because I've beaten it several times growing up. It just, as Kat says, it occupies a space in my brain. Both of my games are what Catsman would dub Amiga core, in that they were basically just Amiga games that were ported onto different systems. James Pond 2, codenamed Robocod, is a basic-ass fucking 2D platformer with absolutely nothing to recommend it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the game looks boring. Also, James Pond can telescope, but he can't, like, platform with the telescoping.
Yeah.
He can just extend his body.
Like, just not very interesting, basically.
Like the little onion men from Mario Odyssey.
Like that, but you can't jump out of it, so you can't use it to reach higher areas most of the time.
Is it for just avoiding enemies then, or...?
You can use it to climb along the ceiling, basically. Like, you can grapple onto the ceiling and then telescope yourself upwards and then shimmy very slowly along the ceiling. Very, very slowly. Yeah, not that fun. Bosses take a huge amount of hits to go down as well. I didn't finish it. I finished it once as a child. Now I know why it was only once and not more than that. But I feel like it's gone. Putty Squad, on the other hand, I did have more fun with, and that does occupy a larger space of my brain, I think. So it was good to play Putty Squad again. Even if like there's absolutely no attention paid to level design, no attention paid to a difficulty curve in any way. It just kind of just does things randomly in the way that Amiga games did. And it looks nice, and every so often there's a good sound, there's a good piece of music on the soundtrack, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there are a few good tracks in the soundtrack. That fucking like weird Amiga sound.
Yeah, very much so. Like, did we figure out it was French, wasn't it?
Was it? Oh god.
Was it French or was it British? I don't remember.
I thought it was British. I think all haunted games are at least a bit British on some level.
It's British.
Yeah, I know mine is.
What's your haunted game, Mike?
It's less of a haunted game and more than just like a specific thing that just like comes to my mind. It's the original Tomb Raider.
Oh, you'd love it if MD was here.
Yeah, and it's 2 things. It is the diving animation when you hit like solid ground and you dive from too high up. Like there's something about like that sound and that like
the crunch.
God, the crunch.
That game is unusually visceral in places.
Well, yeah, and then the other one, the fucking drowning animation, that just like contort, and it's just like. It's just horrifying.
It's hot.
The realism, I love it.
I always thought that about like Mario 64 as well, just like giving your cartoon character an unusually realistic drowning animation.
Yeah, it's why? Make them disappear or something. But yes, the controls for the original Tomb Raider are still like hardwired in my head, like just a third-person action game without mouse. Like moving with the arrow keys, jumping with Alt and Control is the action button, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Moving using your right hand is already just like a fucking weird one.
I played so many old PC games that my mind is hardwired for it, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
I actually can't use my left hand to control game characters.
Catsman, your haunted game is Marble Madness, right?
Well, my haunted game was P-Guy, but I don't need to tell you about P-Guy.
We know enough about P-Guy.
You know all about P-Guy. I did go back and finally finish Marble Madness after literally over a year of it hanging over me. And you know what? I respect it. Mark Cerny did a good job. Just because he made a hard game, it doesn't mean he made it bad.
Shiny, do you have a haunted game?
Do you know, I've been trying to think about it, but I don't think what I consider to be probably my most likely candidate for haunted game, I don't think it necessarily fits into the parameters suggested because of like I would say the cultural impact or I guess awareness of the game itself.
What is it?
Which is Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh.
So I had Banjo-Kazooie as a kid. I started it a number of times, never understood why any time I wanted to stop playing to go do something else, I got a game over. Didn't get that.
Yeah, I always found that weird.
And I've been saying that I'm going to play it for, I think, about 5 years. And I still have not done it. But I always stopped because I got scared of the shark in the water when I was young. So I think that's probably my closest thing to a haunted game.
I think it's a fair one, even though it's a popular game. I think it fits the criteria apart from it being very popular and well known.
Yeah, I think it's also possibly my strong candidate for haunted game as well, because as a child I never beat it.
Yeah.
I have gone back as an adult 2 or 3 times to try and beat it again. I always get to the same point and then drop it because it's boring.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, well, I think you say it's boring. I, off the back of thinking that DK64 was the best game I've ever played, was like, I'm going to play Banjo-Kazooie now because I think that will fill the hole that is being left by no longer playing DK64.
Banana-shaped hole.
But yeah, that was many, many years ago and I still haven't done it. So it's just a constantly weighing on my conscience that I have not played it.
Well, don't let it go on forever, because I felt so much better when I finished Marble Madness.
It's liberating.
I need to exercise the beast, don't I?
So my other candidate for haunted game is Dinosaur Planet.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
But you can't beat that game.
You can't beat that game. I have never talked about Dinosaur Planet on the podcast, despite how important it is to me. Dinosaur Planet is the prototype of what eventually became Star Fox Adventures, originally slated for release on the N64 due to development
2006.
issues. It was eventually released on the GameCube, then known as the Dolphin. Dinosaur Planet, the build that came out is really buggy and broken, but through a series of brute force techniques known as slamming my head against a wall, with a bit of luck and encouragement from Animitch, we managed to explore a good amount of the game, like moving around crash sites, figuring out ways to move at hyperspeed to warp through walls. I eventually figured out that it was possible to use the parallel world technique from Mario 64 in a similar way to like warp yourself to other parts of the map to be able to like get to other places in the game while exploring. And it's got this really, it's one of the most enjoyable times I think I've had with a game where the puzzle solving has been figuring out how to complete a game in a way that it wasn't meant to be completed, because it's the only way you can do it. And I really enjoy it, and I keep meaning to go back and like try some more. I've got some new stuff I've not ever streamed or shown off that I just have, dropped it and never gone back to. But eventually I'd like to play more Dinosaur Planet, and hopefully the community will be able to fix it up so it is properly playable at some point.
That's one of my favourite things about our time with the game, is the community and kingdom that was created and crumbled before us all.
Within a month, yeah. Yeah, the community split within a month into 2 major factions because they weren't getting along very well. But we've had some good times with it. Me and Mitch did stream it for a good 20 hours at one point.
Yeah,
I went to bed. I was like, oh, they're still playing Dinosaur Planet. Hope they pick it back up. It looks really interesting. And I woke up the next morning, turned on my computer, and the stream was still running. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, same for me. I was shocked.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress. If it ever does get fixed up and you watch a speedrun of it, all of the speedrun strats are things I invented.
It is a fascinating game because even though you couldn't play through the whole thing, the build, for being completely abandoned, it's really complete. Cutscenes, animations, going between different areas. It's fascinating to see the elements that they clearly had intended to be a lot more ambitious than they ended up being in the final release, and seeing them half finished.
Yeah, it's got a full day-night cycle. It's
got day-night cycle with some attempt at N64-esque real-time shadows.
Yeah.
And the most amazing thing is that it's got a continuous overworld with no loading zones.
Yeah. no load times. It's amazing. And sometimes that breaks.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you've got to figure out how to unload areas and reload them because it stores in RAM in a weird way.
I think 99% of the problems that they were having developing that game was the continuous loading, like, overworld. Because if one thing breaks in loading, or if one thing doesn't get unloaded when it should have, or if one thing doesn't load when it should have, then everything is destroyed in a really weird way.
Yeah, there's a load of weird problems with flags being set to unlock cutscenes and stuff as well, because there's so much on it that I've not been able to demonstrate through the way I've been playing it, that people have been able to that people have basically been going through the game, going through the hex code for it while playing it and just editing bits to see if it triggers events, and have found so much more stuff that is just locked behind like a flag that's not been set correctly, or like because the trigger is broken for stuff. So it looks like most of the game is there, it just doesn't all talk to itself correctly.
Yeah, I think people could restore it. They've got a better chance of doing
Definitely.
that than they have for Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, but it's been a really cool thing to like see evolve in the community and just to like play through. But it does occupy a big space in my head. The haunting music from the part where me and Mitch were in the rapids for like 3 hours trying to figure out how to get through a specific
We were
crash.
there for 2 hours. Just
Swimming forwards. It was great. Wooly, have you got a haunted game?
I do.
Is it Shenmue?
That would count.
It should be Shenmue.
Yeah, it's Shenmue, but Shenmue is pretty celebrated, not among us, but among people in general. It's a well-known game.
Among Us?
Among Us.
Among Us.
I hate you.
Sounds a little bit sussy.
I do think about Shenmue a lot, and I specifically get a lot of voice lines from it stuck in my head, like anything Goro says.
I see.
Need more power in your arms.
I
Excuse me.
hope
Excuse
a good
me.
one comes out of the capsule toy machine.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oreo.
fine and dandy.
I used to be Chinese.
Yeah. I had another one though from much earlier in life when I was a kid. Background: my dad is a massive Apple fanboy and has been since the 80s. He only ever bought Apple computers, so some of the first games I played were like Mac exclusive games that came with his iMacs and stuff. So there's this game called Bugdom.
Bugdom!
Bugdom. I played a lot of Bugdom as a kid, and
I know this game. They ported it to Windows. You could control the bug with the mouse.
yeah, it's just like a 3D, not really a 3D platformer or a 3D action game. You
3D walk arounder.
You need to stream this game. This game looks amazing.
You're a little pill bug, and you walk around being chased by bees, fire ants, a bunch of
And feet.
kind of scary enemies. Yeah, the video I've included is from level 4, where you're in a forest and there's like human feet walking around, stomping around, not really noticing you, but they're obviously deadly. Just left feet stomping around in a circle. And later on in the level, you get to like fly around on the back of a dragonfly, and you can see the feet from above, and there's no humans attached to them. There's just left feet, just
Oh my
stomping
God.
around in a circle, and that really skeeved me out as a 7-year-old or 8-year-old or whatever I was. Like, this game occupied my mind for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of creepy stuff, pretty realistic looking beasts that chase you around and never stop.
All of the models look really creepy. Like the main character
Yeah.
looks too, I don't know, it's not like realistic, but you know what I mean? Like it looks too, it's like uncanny.
It's the shoes.
It's the classic thing they've done where they've made their cartoon bugs slightly too realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Put them in the uncanny valley.
I like that he's wearing shoes, but the people stamping around are not.
Developers got their priorities.
I don't like the fact that he's meant to be an insect, but he's got 8 legs.
Well, wait, isn't he supposed to be one of those potato bugs? He has too few legs, if anything.
Oh, a woodlouse.
He's a pill bug, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Cheesy Bob.
You can roll, dude. This looks cool.
It's a fun game from what I remember. I remember when you got a game over, you were imprisoned by ants.
The ants were also super creepy looking.
Ka-chow.
In this same level, since you can fly around on the back of a dragonfly, there's this like enforcing of how high you can go, where if you fly too high on a dragonfly, you get eaten by a bat.
Oh.
Ooh.
But I didn't understand that like that was a hard limit on how I could fly. I thought there was a way past the bat, so I just kept like trying to beat this bat over and over and being terrified by this thing. Like, maybe if I go over here, he won't get me. Like, as a kid, you don't get how this stuff works.
This is like Yeti and Ski Free kind of deal. Like, just a...
Yeah, the bat was my nemesis as a kid.
I'm looking at like a video of the bug riding like a water skimmer type bug, and that thing is terrifying.
You need to stream this. You need to beat this haunted game.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, dude, this looks cool. You gotta stream this. Is this why you hate Antsy?
You know, I never made that connection, but I did hate the ants in this game. Yeah, just maybe I'll be able to explain it more clearly when I played it. But there's a lot of creepy stuff in this game that, to an 8-year-old mind, it gets stuck in your head afterwards.
I know what you mean.
I also strongly identified with this little pill bug you played as. Like, for some reason, I really loved this little bug, and so seeing him die in all these kind of weird ways was... Check out these ripped bees. Check out these hunk bees walking around the beehive.
Oh my god. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, and then look, check out the hunks.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, the Chad bees.
Wow.
Which is funny because most bees live their lives as virgins.
I can't find a video of it, so I won't show you now, but there's a game called Axie Snake that was like a shareware game that I played. There was like a 3D snake clone.
I've seen it. It's in your video of P Guy, right?
Yeah. So in that game, all around the outside of the arena, there's like this dark forest, and there's like just pairs of like red glowing eyes in it that like move around and make noises. And as you begin to run out of time in the game, the lights go away and the light becomes like red. And then if you just take too long to complete the level or like go too far towards the edge of the level, your snake gets like dragged violently into the darkness at the side by these creatures whose eyes you can see, and like a fountain of blood erupts out of it, and he screams. And then the game ends.
Oh my god.
And it's like the rest of the game is like perfectly kid friendly, but it just has this one weird, really scary element. I will try and find a video, and if not, I will make one.
Sounds like something that should appear in Video Games Death Max from GCCX.
It's like a bad video game creepypasta, only it actually exists.
Yes, pump it through the hose.
Someone has made a mod of Half-Life 2 in which they have replaced Alex with Krystal from the Star Fox series, who I'm informed is pretty thick, though. She is fully voice acted by the original voice actress for Krystal. I think this is hilarious, and I think it's crazy how much money furries are willing to spend on their weird projects.
They're suspiciously wealthy.
Suspiciously wealthy furries.
There's like a tier list of like video games and the creepy mods that are made for them, and like you got your Bethesda games, they're pretty high up there, but like Half-Life 2 is close to the top as well, because there's that cinematic Half-Life mod with that really bizarre, Alex
mod.
model that actually has a modeled vulva.
Well, that modeled cervix, it
Yeah, it
goes
goes
all
up
the
and
way. It's
inside,
got like
doesn't
8 ovaries and stuff, I think.
Awful.
Yeah, no, I'll take the crystal mod, please.
It's such a bad looking crystal, though.
Yeah, it looks awful. The model looks awful. And I gotta say, the voice actor, you know, it's hard to get work as a voice actor. It's not easy work. It's not paid very well. I understand all of that, but she's still not very good.
Well, I think she came out of retirement for this. Like, she doesn't work as a voice actress anymore. So I'm wondering, how much money did they pay her? Like, do you think she just got a call one day? It's like, hello, is this the voice actress for Krystal?
Is that your furry voice? Is that what they sound like?
They wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say, "Is this the voice actress for?" They say, "Is this Krystal?
Is this Krystal?
Is this Krystal from the planet Krazoa?"
I've got a lot of money. A lot of money.
Is the mission still proceeding as
Do you
planned?
think it's weird that you could go to the store to buy biscuits and you could get 11 when the pack says 12?
Wow.
Look, Krystal, I don't know if you're still doing voice acting, but I've got a project for you.
Have you heard of Half-Life? Here's the cinematic mod I did for it.
Here's the script. I'm sending it
fuck.
to you on your Weibo right now. I know it's like 50,000 words, but I've got $50,000.
Damn, $1 in a word.
What is wrong with
What
us?
do you mean us?
What is wrong with us
I
laughing
think
at this fucking
I think it's
voice?
very specifically what's wrong with Specs and Mitch.
Well, that's true.
That's how they talk.
Who's they?
The furries.
I know a lot of furries at this point, and that is not how they talk.
That's true.
They hide their power level when they're around you.
They talk like, "Hello, I'm Rusty, and I'm Swedish now for some reason."
Hey,
Do you think it's weird that when you go to store to buy biscuits, the packet says 12, but you only get 11?
Rusty is from German part of Switzerland, so he sounds like this
Sounds
when
like
he
this,
talks.
yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think it's weird that when
Then
you
I
go
go
to this
to the
store,
store,
you buy a pack
and
of
I buy a
Frankfurters, and it says on the Frankfurter packet that
You're
there's
you're
12, but you
gliding
can
back
see
into
there's
Swedish.
11.
You're back to Swedish again.
It's a European accent. It's a pan-Euro accent.
I have bought 12 snickerdoodles, but there was only 11 snickerdoodles.
Yeah, I've got these little box of chocolates.
Very true.
Here's the thing: like Frankfurters come in translucent packs, so don't
You can see how many you're getting.
He's literally counting his Frankfurters after they've hatched. This is his fault.
What's the next news item?
The next news item is that Square Enix have sold Lara Croft to...
Not just Lara Croft, all of Eidos.
Okay, which includes Deus Ex, right?
Yep.
Deus Ex and something else.
Hitman? Does it include Hitman?
No, they already lost IO.
They've sold this branch of their company for $200 million after they lost $200 million on making that crap Avengers game and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Imagine selling what was at the time like one of the most popular game series for basically a good 5 or 6 years, and selling Deus Ex, which is one of the most critically acclaimed games and probably the best immersive sim ever made, and you sell them so you can make NFTs.
Oh my god.
It's crazy that they've sold the only female video game character just because they want to spunk money up the wall at like weird projects.
So was it to make NFTs, or was it to bail themselves out of what they lost from Guardians of the Galaxy?
They specifically said that they were going to invest in NFTs, but that might have just been a cover for it.
It's so weird because they're printing money with Final Fantasy. They could absorb that loss quite easily, like that they made the loss that they had with Avengers and Guardians. Like they don't need to sell off anything else. They're choosing to do so.
Well, with what I've heard from their non-Japanese studios, the games like the Deus Ex games and the Tomb Raider games that came out under Square Enix were good in spite of their management and not because of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Legacy of Kain is the other thing they own.
Oh my god. Like,
Legacy of Kain, damn.
Although that's not had anything in like 20 years at this point.
No.
It's not, but it's like you could easily bring that back and people would be into it. You're right in that bit of the fucking
The Raziel trilogy.
nostalgia cycle.
Tomb Raider could do another reboot because like it had a strong showing with the first part and then just
Kinda fell off.
Yeah, really fell off.
I thought those games did really well though. Like the reboot definitely.
Well, they
but...
did. They did really well financially, but like, what was it? It was Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider were both like the free game this Christmas on Epic. So yeah, they were trying to sneak those in there. I think that nowadays the free game on Epic feels like it's sort of testing for can a sequel be like actually viable.
Check this out. Back when the Xbox One originally launched all those years ago, Microsoft paid like oh no, this is even more recent. This was last year. Microsoft paid $100 million so that Rise of the Tomb Raider would be exclusive for the platform for a year.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, the value of things under capitalism is stupid. Like Tesla is worth almost as much as all of the other automotive companies put together.
Well, we'll see where that is by the time this podcast release.
By the time this comes out, but they were at one point worth as much as all of the other automotive companies, even though they didn't make even a tenth of the cars of those companies. But either Lara Croft and Square Enix and stuff were grossly overvaluing these games, or they were grossly undervaluing these games. And either way, it's really funny. And I hope nothing but bad things come to them, as I do all major game publishers.
Here's another interesting thing, though, is that the people who bought Eidos were the same company that bought THQ, or at least the things that no one else wanted from THQ when that closed.
Yeah.
For $200 million. Microsoft has spent billions on Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, and they couldn't, scrape up a little bit of fucking pennies to them to pick up these guys.
Yeah,
that just means to me that no one wants these types of games. They don't want their single player Deus Exes or their Tomb Raiders or their Raziel games. They want their live service games, and that's what they bought Bethesda and Activision for. And that's the worrying thing, that the industry doesn't value these types of games, that even though they've been kind of middling the Tomb Raider and the Deus Ex stuff, they're filling a market, a niche of it that is going to dry up, maybe.
God.
It's interesting because Sony is still making those games like God of War and Last of Us and Uncharted. They're still making those games.
And they're selling shitloads. Fucking Elden Ring was a fucking smash hit.
Yeah.
The prestige ones do really well, but maybe the middling ones like your Tomb Raiders, your Deus Exes now just aren't. I don't know.
It's people want live services because they can make the game make money for 10 years as opposed to making money once.
If you look at the other stuff that Square Enix is sacrificed Tomb Raider for, though, it's stuff like Babylon's Fall. Anyone remember Babylon's Fall? That came out.
It reached 0 concurrent players on Steam the other day.
Yeah.
I think about it, but only for bad reasons.
Yeah.
It's rated as 6 out of 10 on Steam. 19% of Google users liked this video game. 41% on Metacritic. This is the sort of stuff that Square Enix is throwing money at that is just shit. And they're getting rid of their good sort of studios to allow them to invest in more shit, like The Quiet Man. Remember The Quiet Man? That's Square Enix. Anything they've brought out recently that's not Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy has bombed hard, and it seems like they're just kind of incompetent with where they're investing their money.
As we've discussed previously, the way you become a senior exec at a Japanese company is you just be there for 40 years. You don't have to be good. The way you become a senior exec at an American video game company is by being a sexual predator. You don't have to be good at your job.
Yeah, either way, I can say whoever the chief executive at fucking Square Enix is very good at his job, if only by evidence that he still has one. This many fuck-ups and, losing the company this much money and you haven't been shit-canned, you either have dirt on somebody or, you're just rolling 20s on charisma check when, the fucking, when the board is talking to you.
Well, you go to the shareholder meeting and you say, look at our project here, Final Fantasy Online. It makes billions! We're going to try and make other games like it. And they're all like, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And then, months later, they come out and they're like, bomb.
A fucking, game company makes one game in a very specific niche, and it fills that niche. And then they're like, oh shit, we should make every game like this.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Ubisoft, and here's my clone game.
Yeah. I can't wait for another Battle Royale.
This is what they teach you when you go to get an MBA. It's just to have no original thoughts.
All that happens is the Western CEOs go to the board meeting and they just have a glass of breast milk with them.
Yeah. So once again, if you want all of these problems to be solved, just gay guys. Yeah, just all gay guys at the top level.
But then they'll be drinking man milk.
at E3 with swirling my warm brandy glass of cum.
In that Bill Cosby suite,
Oh, God.
Why, yes, we've taken Microsoft's entire budget and given it to Obsidian. I wonder what they'll do.
Probably something that doesn't work. Oh, well.
Oh well, it'll have a bunch of bugs, but it'll be a cult classic.
In 10 years' time when the community fix it.
Just wait. Everybody's going to buy this game in 10 years when it's £2.99 in a Steam sale. Then you'll be rolling in it.
Oh, you'll see all the elaborate discussions on it. It will be #1 most upvoted game on Reddit.
Imagine the sex mods for this.
Come on, Donkey Song. Just the clap. Come on.
This has been, gentlemen, lunchtime. What are we called now?
Just lunchtime, I think.
This has been lunchtime.
Ladies Brunch Club.
If you know what this podcast is named, leave a comment.
No, they'll name it something racist.
Welcome to Second Breakfast Podcast.
And let me know.
Let me know if you've been to the shop recently and bought a packet of 12 biscuits.
What did you do with the 12th biscuit?
We're not doing this again.
Upload selfies and we will analyze them with the diversity chart.
Yes. We'll look purely at your face and decide what your
Social economic background is.
I've taken a set of scales to the shops recently so I can weigh the biscuits against a standardized biscuit weight that I have made myself. I call it 1 biscotto. If it weighs 12 biscottos, I'll buy your packet. If it weighs 11 biscottos, that's no.
They've caught on to that. They put a tiny piece of lead in the biscuit packaging. That explains a lot, actually, now that I think about it.
This has been Suliano Bambo Grando.
That's what the podcast is called now.
Catch you on the flip side.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
Youch! Bang, boom.
Ciao, yeah. There you go.
Sorry, youch.
Zap.
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 Once again, just put the gay people in charge.
I think this is part of your conspiracy for power, Michael.
Yeah, it's called Globo Homo. I've been lowering testosterone levels everywhere.
They put estrogen in the water and the frogs are gay!
So that was it's the most memorable Alex Jones thing, but that's the one that actually does have some evidence to it, but it's
like being filtered through multiple levels of Alex Jones misinterpreting other people misinterpreting scientific papers.
Yeah. It's just basically industrial runoff because frogs are gender fluid, and it's fucking up that set of like hormone triggers with them. So it's not making them gay. It's making them like
It's just giving them big fat tees.
yeah.
Big fat frog titties.
Big honking bazongas on them frogs.
There's not enough sexualized frog media in video games.
Not in video games.
Frogs are really popular in indie games right now.
Yeah, there was like fucking 5 fucking frog games that were announced.
Yeah, frogs are very popular now, but they're not sexualized.
People love frogs, but they always have loved frogs, even back since Frogger, like.
I like frogs.
That's right.
Rock me, baby. Baby. Rock me, baby. Baby.
That's right.
Baby. 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 Baby.
I have been eating delicious biscuits full of microplastics, and it has destroyed my ability to come up with an original thought.
And it has destroyed my ability to come.
Every time you come, you just come a tiny little green army soldier man.
It's like a kidney stone. Folks, dark, heavy beer and lots of cranberry juice.
It's 3D printed, that's why it takes an entire hour.
That's why my testicles are that shape.
I had a dream where I came sausage gravy.
Oh my.
Nice. Did you come it onto a plate?
Yeah, no, there was like literally a biscuit, an American biscuit, on the plate.
But how many biscuits did you get in your packet of American biscuits?
That's the one that was missing from the packet.
You don't get American biscuits in packets, you have to make them.
What?
They're like scones.
Yeah.
What?
They're like savoury scones, basically.
You what, mate?
You fucking what?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. When you were saying
fucking
biscuits this
what?
whole time, like, it was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Biscuit,
Package of
mate.
biscuits?
It's a
Like, fuck
biscuit.
you.
It's a biscuit.
Yeah.
It's a fucking biscuit.
But like, you know, there's a couple of kinds of American biscuits. I've had American biscuits, they're pretty nice.
Not really. Not they largely are talking about like generally the same thing, like kind of crumbly, buttery bread.
Yeah. But there's a few variants, whereas there are literally thousands of types of British biscuits.
Can we talk about fucking pudding? Because I don't know what that word means anymore.
It means anything sweet.
It means dessert.
Disgusting.
Well, speaking of, I have to wish death upon the Queen.
I like that you make a noise while you do it.
I go red in the face as well. I take this very seriously.
Do you? I didn't realize. Do you like put yourself in a sensory deprivation chamber?
No, I sit down there for about 20 seconds and I just think really hard about the Queen being fed into one of those industrial grinders.
Is it always the same, or do you sometimes switch it up with what you imagine the situation killing her?
Sometimes I switch it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes she melts like that guy in RoboCop.
See, I imagine it would be like that Takashi Miike film, Gozu, and I would just go to a laundromat one day, and like the Queen's entire like flesh would just be in like a dry cleaning bag, just pressed like a little thing, and I just see it passing by. It's like, oh, all right, thank God they fixed that. I don't know if England has this, but like those semi-precious stones, like Tiger's Eye, and you know, just those little like rocks that look like kind of cool, but they're not super valuable.
Yeah, we got rocks.
Yeah, we got rocks.
Sorry, I'm actually awake now, and I did hear you, and I probably had enough time just to get a brief shack of blueberry huff off. So maybe just get a half of that, and then you can chuck the rest